Hey boys and girls, we saw some of your towers yesterday and they were so awesome. This tower right here with the paper towel roll. Yes, and if you guys haven't done that, do it today and send us a picture. It's pretty fun. So today we're going to find out what's on the inside of those really tall buildings in the big cities. So if anybody has drove through Atlanta, you've seen some really big cities, or maybe even Birmingham. And there's a couple of tall buildings in Gadsden. So we're going to find out what's on the inside. Today, very tall buildings have frameworks made out of steel. Steel was discovered over 150 years ago. That's a really long time. Steel is light and very strong. Buildings with a steel framework can be built much higher than stone buildings. But 150 years ago, they still could not be very high. People had to climb too many stairs to reach the top floors. Once elevators were invented, people could live and work in tall buildings more comfortably without climbing many stairs. Buildings could be built taller. So down here is a building that is being built.
Cool.
And see all the metal, the framework? That's the steel. So that says, here you can see the steel framework of an office building under construction. Right here is an elevator. In 1852, Alicia Otis invented a safety brake that stopped an elevator from falling if the rope broke. This made elevators safer to use. So there is the inside of an elevator. Isn't that cool? I see a pulley system up here. This turns and it will pull the elevator up. Isn't that neat?
And a woman invented that?
The name is Alicia. So this is the structure of a tower. So I'm going to point to a couple of things and show you guys what all is here. So let's start at the bottom, the foundation. So here we have foundations where it's in the rock. You see that? The rock. And then this is dirt, but it's underground. This is a parking lot. And here's an elevator. So there are also stairs because if there's ever a fire, they don't want to use the elevators. You got to go down the stairs, so it's safer. Here's other cities inside of the 2 stories. So there's every line is a story. So wow,
that's a lot of stories.
That's a lot of stories. That's a lot of levels. Here's the elevator going up and down. And these are the walls, and there's a satellite dish up on top.
So in each one of those stories, Miss Diaz, it looks like there's offices.
Yes.
In each one of the stories, like a whole bunch of offices.
Yes, a bunch of offices where people will sit at their desk and work. Or maybe this is levels where people live. It might be apartment buildings, but this is the basic foundation and how the building, what's on the inside. Why don't towers sink? A big tower might weigh thousands of tons. Why doesn't it sink? That's a good question. Foundations stop towers from sinking. Engineers make foundations for towers. They figure out how big the foundation needs to be to support the weight of the tower they are building. Make foundations for your tower. So this is going to be a challenge. You'll need a brick, a large container filled with soft, wet sand or dirt, and a lid. Stand the brick in the container. Does it stand upright? Press on it gently. What happens now? So, what do you think is going to happen when she takes her brick and she pushes it down in that soft sand? Let's find out. It looks like it's leaning. Sorry, right there. Do you see how it's leaning? Now she's going to try and put the lid under it. Put the lid of the container under your brick. Press on the brick again. Can you press harder now? The lid spreads the force of your push over a wider area. The ground can now support much more weight. You notice now that it's standing upright? So the lid pushes the sand down as you're
Cool.
pushing, and it makes it flat for you. So that would be the foundation of the tower. A tower weighs much more than a brick. If a tower is built on very hard ground, like rock, it won't sink. But most towers are built on softer ground. Why don't they sink? What do you think they have? They have a really good foundation? These two towers show what can happen if a building doesn't have a strong foundation. What's happening to that tower? Is it standing upright or is it leaning?
It's leaning.
It is. It's leaning. This bell tower was built in Italy a long time ago in 1173. It was built on soft, wet ground. When the 3 floors had been built, the tower started to lean. Today, the Leaning Tower of Pisa leans about 15 feet. So this is still standing today.
Wow.
Yeah. Check out this tower. Do you think it was built on a strong foundation? I don't think so. This tower in a castle in Wales, Britain, leans even further than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The tower leans because the ground under it shifted and sank. So sometimes the ground will just sink for no reason. All right. Let's keep going. What are the world's tallest towers? 2 of the tallest towers in the world today are the Canadian National Tower in Toronto, Canada, and the Moscow Tower in Moscow, Russia. They are broadcasting towers, not buildings where people live and work. So that's what I was noticing about these towers. They're very, very small. I don't think people could live in those because they're broadcasting. That means when you go way up high, you got the satellites up in space, and so they use these towers to send out signals. So you can use your cell phones, you can use your TVs, whatever you can, radios, things that go through the air. The CN Tower is 1,804 feet tall.
Oh.
What? There is a lookout on the top. You can see for 75 miles on a clear day. That is wild. There's that lookout right there. Do you think you would be brave enough to go up in the lookout? That's really high.
Miss Gillian's scared of heights.
The Moscow Tower in Moscow, Russia, is 1,762 feet tall. So, 1,804 feet and then 1,762 feet. So I think the CN Tower is taller. And that's in Canada. Ooh. Last page. 20 tallest buildings in the world. If you look at the year built column in the table, you will see that some of these buildings are not finished. The Twin Towers in Malaysia were the tallest finished buildings in the world in 1998, but taller towers will be built in the 21st century. So this book is an older book, and we definitely have some really much taller buildings now. So maybe if your mom and dad would be willing, they could look up what's the tallest building now in 2021. Let us know what you find out. We would love to know. Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.